Welcome to today's chair upper body strength class. I'm Coach Lindsay. Thanks for joining me as always. Today's going to be all upper body strength focused. So we're going to be doing lots of muscle building, but also lots of mobility. So one thing that I'm really focused on whenever we're doing strength training is form, right? Because strength training is great for all of us. We can all do it as long as we have great form so that we're preventing any injuries. So we're going to talk a little bit about form, but we need, of course, some resistance. We need some weight with today's class. If you do not have any hand weights at home, that's perfectly okay. You can use anything that adds resistance. So cans of food is great, filled up water bottles is great. So if you don't have weights, go ahead and grab any of that now, whatever works for you. If you do have hand weights, I suggest having 2 different sets of weights if you have the option. If not, just make sure you have kind of a lighter set of weights, and we can always talk about dropping the weight and just using our body weight for some of the lighter weight exercises if you have a heavier set. So for reference, I have 8 pounds. 8 pounds is great for our biceps. We're gonna be working biceps, triceps, and shoulders. So our biceps can kind of handle a little bit more than our smaller muscle groups. So I have 8 pounds. I would use anything from 5 to 12. And then your smaller set of weights you're gonna want for your triceps and some of our shoulder exercises. So I have 5 pounds for reference. Anything from 1 to, I would say 8 or 10 is good for that shoulder and tricep. So now that we have that out of the way, let's talk about chair form. We always start chair class with this. So anytime we're doing anything in the chair, especially upper body, right? Because as we add more resistance and weight to our upper body, we wanna make sure we're nice and steady and we have lots of structure underneath of us, okay? So when we're in that chair, we are forward a few inches from the back of that chair so that our feet sit nice and flat on that ground. We're also not leaning back on that chair at any point in time unless you absolutely need to. So wiggle around in that chair, find what's comfortable. We want a good 90-degree angle with those feet. Our feet are flat on the ground. And then with our core, because we don't have the steadiness and the structure from our lower body, our core is gonna be what's supporting us. So with that core, we wanna make sure it's nice and engaged. When we sit up nice and tall, typically we have a little arch in the lower back. We don't wanna have that arch because we don't wanna, irritate our lower back. So we're gonna tuck our pelvis under just a little bit. So it's just a slight movement of tucking that pelvis under. You'll feel your belly button draw into your spine, and that is good core engagement. So your back should be nice and flat. You don't have to maintain this for the entire class, but when you're doing a lot of your lifting, you wanna make sure that that core is nice and fired on, okay? So let's go ahead and get started with our warm up now that all of that form stuff is out of the way. Arms go out to the side, big arm circles backwards like we're doing a backstroke. So today we have kind of a pretty speedy class today. So we have 3 blocks of work. Each block has a bicep, a tricep, and a shoulder. We're doing each exercise for 20 seconds. So it's a quick burst of strength training. We have a 10-second rest, which gives you just enough time to set your weights down, switch them out if you need to. Let's bring those arm circles forward. Take a little bit of rest in between each exercise. And then, so it's about 90 minutes with each block of work, and then we have a 1-minute rest in between. We're gonna repeat each block twice, and there's 3 blocks. That's lots of numbers, lots of stuff you don't have to worry about, but just so you know what to expect. So if any time you need to drop your weights, if your weights are a little too heavy or you're feeling like you can't hang on to that weight for that amount of time, that's fine, okay? Just make sure you're moving your body and giving it your all. That's all I ask. Other than that, you do what you want during this class. Let's go ahead and get into some goal posts. So arms out in front, pulling those elbows backwards, squeezing that shoulder, the shoulder blades together and opening up that chest. So keep your, like you have a string at the top of your head, keep nice and tall. So again, something that tends to happen as we're doing upper body, our arms get tired, we naturally kind of want to hunch, right? We don't want to do that, okay? So up, chest nice and open, back nice and straight as we keep those arms moving. Nice job. Let's go ahead and take it up for a little bit of shoulder mobility. So this time up and down with those goalposts. Excellent. Ooh, this is already burning that shoulder. We got lots to come today. That's why we got to move up, move these shoulders around, get them mobile. Excellent. Go ahead and rest those arms, shake those arms out. Next little stretch, dynamic stretch that we have is an IYWT. This is not new to a lot of you, but we're gonna start with our arms up in an I. We're gonna come out into a Y, really reach, open up that chest. We come down to that W, so squeeze those shoulder blades together, open that chest, and then raise into a lateral T, okay? So this is practice just for one of our exercises. 2 more, I, Y, W, T. Last one, I, Y, W, T. Excellent. Drop those arms. Last and final part of our warm up, we're going to do some wrist mobility. So go ahead and interlock those hands and roll those wrists out. We have weights in our hand majority of today's class. So we got to give our wrists some attention so that they're not getting stiff or sore from holding onto those weights. So roll that wrist in any direction that feels the best for you. And then we're gonna go ahead and do some flexion and extension. So hold those arms out like you're pushing somebody away, and then flex, bring those fingertips down and towards you. So you're kind of doing like a scoop motion, and we're just gonna rotate between the two here. You can add, if this isn't like a deep enough stretch, you can take one hand and kind of push and pull and then switch. So whatever feels best for you. I kind of like both. Get that deep stretch with the resistance of the other hand, but then a little bit of lighter mobilization with just two hands at once. Excellent. A little bit longer here with this wrist stuff. All right, give it a roll and shake it out. I'm gonna demo all of the exercises. We have 9 total between the 3 blocks of 3 exercises. So just watch, you don't have to remember all this, but just to run you through what to expect. So first block is bicep curls, tricep kickbacks, and lateral raise. So with bicep curls, you can go a little heavier if you feel comfortable enough. I'm going with my 8s. Now with form, we wanna make sure that first and foremost, our elbows are glued to our side the entire time. Secondly, is as we raise that weight, we're not trying to touch the weight towards our shoulder, okay? It's kind of a misconception. A lot of people think that a full bicep curl is touching that weight. What happens is first, you're curling that wrist, you're putting a lot of pressure on that wrist, and then you'll see your elbows disassociating from your side. So keep that elbow glued to your side. We just have a full bicep curl, but we stop to where we're nice and aligned, okay? So we're gonna do both arms for the 20 seconds. If it feels better for you to alternate, you certainly can. Then we're gonna switch out our weights for our lighter ones for tricep kickbacks. So with kickbacks, you're gonna take a slight lean forward. You're gonna start those weights at our ribs, kind of right next to our chest. And then we're just gonna extend, pinky to the sky, and come back, okay? So both arms here at the same time, or you can alternate. Then we hop right into lateral raise. I would keep your lighter weights for this. Start with the weights by your side. We raise up, stopping at our collarbone. So we're not coming all the way up. If you need to go lower for range of motion, perfectly fine, but just make sure you're stopping at that collarbone. Slight bend in the elbow, okay? That's block number 1. Now, block number 2, we have wide bicep curls. So you can grab those heavier weights if you want to. Everything stays the same except for we're just taking our arms into a W motion. So instead of right in front of us with that bicep curl, we're just out working the interior part of our bicep. Same thing, all the same form cues apply. Then we're gonna again swap out for our lighter weights. We're gonna do a tricep extension. So you're gonna go ahead and take those weights, you're gonna push them together and bring them up. Then what you're gonna do is bring them back behind your head, okay? So our elbows are staying right by our head. We don't want those elbows forward at all. We want them right next to our head, then we come up. Okay, nice, easy tricep. If you need to go down to just one of your lighter weights, you can. If at any point that's too much on your shoulder, go to the tricep kickbacks, okay? We don't want any shoulder injuries today, so if anything above the head is too much, go to those tricep kickbacks. Then we have a shoulder press, which is kind of up to you if you wanna go higher in your weight. I'm gonna go higher just because our shoulder presses can pack a punch. So we're gonna bring those weights up into that goalpost. We're gonna press up and down, okay? All right, now moving on to the third block. Keep those heavier weights in our hands and we're gonna do a hammer curl, but we're gonna do what's called an eccentric hammer curl. So what that means is we're focused on the lowering of that weight. So hammer curls, we have the weights like this, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a 1 second count up and a 3 second count down, okay? So it's 1 up, 1, 2, 3 down. And what that does is just keep that time under tension on that muscle as we lower eccentrically with that muscle, okay? So hammer curls, eccentric hammer curls. Then we have a tricep press. So I would lower your weight once again. This time we're gonna have those weights right in front of our chest. We're gonna squeeze the weights together and we're just pushing out, okay? So this is gonna hit both the top of your shoulder a little bit and that tricep muscle. So squeeze those weights together, push out in front of you for that tricep push press, I guess I would call it. Then last exercise we have is an upright row. So weights come down in front of you, you row upwards right above the chest, and then we lower. Okay, that was a really long demo. So let's go ahead and get started. It takes me a lot longer than I think to go through these workouts. So Mighty family, we have 20 seconds of bicep curls. So start with your elbows glued to your side, weights down by your side, and let's go ahead and begin. So 20 seconds here, go at your own pace. If you want to take your time, you can. If you want to speed it up and get as many reps as possible, you can do that. We only have a 10-second rest, so be very mindful of how quick you go here. Excellent. 3, 2, and 1. We have 10 seconds here. Drop your weights, exchange them if you need to. We have tricep kickbacks on deck. So roll those shoulders back away from your ears, slight lean forward, and let's begin. That 10 seconds is speedy. So again, we are from the side, kicking back, pinky to ceiling here. You can alternate your arms if you need to. Try to keep that back nice and straight so it helps to look forward about 45 degrees. Excellent. 3, 2, and 1. 10-second rest here. I'm keeping the same weights. Roll those shoulders back. We're very speedy through these workouts, giving us that cardio benefit, right? Our heart rate's gonna stay up. So 10 seconds is already over. Lateral raises. Let's go ahead and begin. So again, stopping at that collarbone, no higher. Slight bend in that elbow. Excellent. Remember to breathe. A little bit harder for me up here when I'm talking and working. Excellent. 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and toss those weights down. Roll those shoulders out. We have 1 minute. So we work for a good minute and a half. Then we have a good minute of rest. This is your opportunity to wiggle out those wrists if you need to. Stretch out the shoulder, readjust your form before we head into block number 2. So a couple deep breaths here. I know sometimes our heart rates get up there as we're moving pretty quickly, so whatever feels best for you. Neck rolls are nice, rolling those shoulders back away from our ears. Excellent job. I'm gonna go ahead and grab my weights just so they're with me. You still have 30 seconds of rest, so take it. But as a reminder, we have wide bicep curls on deck. So make sure you're paying attention to what weights you're using, because the second time around, we kind of get to play around with it. If it was easier the first time or harder, you can adjust accordingly during that second time through these exercises. So we've got 10 seconds left. Go ahead and grab those heavier or whatever weights you need for those bicep curls. We're gonna start with our arms down and wide. So elbows are still glued, and let's go ahead and begin. So same exact form with that original bicep curl, just we're wide a little bit. We're with a nice W in the body here. So really practice squeezing that bicep muscle as you pull up. Keep that elbow to your side. Try not to rotate that wrist. Excellent. Our work is very speedy here. We've got 3, 2, and 1. Nice job. Go ahead and toss that weight down. Grab your lighter weights for that tricep overhead extension, okay? So weights together, back behind the head as we start, and let's begin. So keep those weights together the whole time. Those elbows are right by your head. So as you see, it's nice and aligned. My elbow is not too far back or too far forward. And from the front, you can see it's a nice extension of that elbow. Excellent. 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and drop your weights if you want to. If you want to keep the same, that's fine. We're doing overhead press for our shoulders. So a nice speedy transition here. Go ahead and get those elbows up and let's begin. So up and back down. As you come back down, you're just stopping right in line with your armpits here. So your elbows don't want to go anywhere below your armpit. Excellent. Nice burn in the shoulder from those tricep extensions. Nice job. You've got 3, 2, and 1. Toss those weights aside and rest. Excellent. Woo, we're just speeding through these blocks of work. I know they're quick, but I do that on purpose. So it feels like, gosh, I'm not working for a lot of time, because ideally we want to have a little bit heavier weights for this type of class, right? We have a short amount of time. So let's go a little bit heavier with our weights so that we don't have the quick motion, but we more so get a really good strength building contraction from that workout versus kind of a lighter weight cardio session, if that makes sense. So you can plan your weights accordingly in that second time around that we do this. But right now we're in that minute of stretch still. So anything that you need to do to stretch out those arms, shoulder stretch is always nice. Rolling the shoulders out. All right, we've got 20 seconds left. Grab those heavier weights for bicep eccentric hammer curls. So just as a reminder, this time, instead of our weights like this, horizontal, they're vertical, and we are going a quick up and a slow down, okay? All right, let's go ahead and begin. Last and final block, then we get a rest. Let's go ahead and start. So up, slowly down. Same thing applies with all of our form, right? Our elbows are glued to our side, nice and slow. And we don't have to have that weight touch that shoulder. We want to make sure our wrists stay nice and straight. Excellent. Woo. 3, 2, and 1. I got to finish out this repetition. Nice job. Okay, tricep press. I'm going to grab my lighter weights here. So for this one, we're putting the weights together. We're pushing out. Let's go ahead and begin. We're already done with that 10-second rest. So imagine yourself pushing those weights together and pushing out. So you're not only getting a good tricep workout here, but also with that chest and the top of your shoulders. It's kind of a great all-around exercise here. Nice job. 3, 2, and 1. Rest those weights. And we have upright rows on deck here in about 8 seconds. So weights come down, palms face inward, and we're rowing upwards. So let's go ahead and begin. We're up to the chest and down. If you need to scoot your legs in a little bit so that you can get those weights down, you certainly can. Keep that back nice and straight. Chest is nice and open. Not at any time should it fall forward. We're not hunching the back here. Excellent. Great job, you guys. Almost through here. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. Drop those weights. Ooh, we are officially done with that first block of work, or first time through the blocks of work. So open up those arms, grab yourself, give yourself a hug, really work out that upper body. So now you've done everything once. You know what this kind of workout entails as far as quick bursts of movements with a little bit of a shorter rest. So if you want to up your weights, you can. If you want to stay the same, perfect. If you want to drop your weights and do body weight, perfect. Whatever you want to do, just decide now, because we're going through everything one more time. This is your time to challenge yourself a little bit, because you don't have to do this again for the rest of the day. So go ahead and figure out what you want to do. You've got about 30 seconds left in the cool down right now. So roll those shoulders out, roll the neck out. If you need to realign with your posture, so I know my feet tend to be a little staggered when I'm doing upper body. I think it's just easier to create a little bit more of a foundation. So if you're doing the same and you need to kind of scoot forward, get those feet flat before you kind of stagger again, do so. This is a great time for it. But grab those weights. We're going to begin at the very top. So bicep curls, regular bicep curls, 20 seconds, okay? Roll those shoulders out. You still have 8 seconds before we begin, so don't rush into it. Let's go ahead and get those weights down by our side, elbows glued to our side, and let's begin here for 20 seconds. So now that you've done this before, maybe let's try to speed it up a little bit, or if you're doing heavier weights, that's good, right? You're challenging yourself a little bit more than the first time. Excellent job. 3, 2, and 1. Drop those weights if you're transitioning, getting into tricep kickbacks. Quick 10 seconds. Let's take that lean forward. Weights start by our chest, and let's begin. So extending out, pinky to ceiling. So from the side, nice straight hinge of that elbow, okay? Excellent. Breathe. I know our arms are probably a little shaky at this point. 3, 2, and 1. Raise back up. If you're keeping your same weight, you can just rest it on your legs. Lateral raise on deck. Whew. Out of breath a little bit. Weights start by our side, and let's begin. So raise up and down in line with your collarbone. Slight bend in the elbow here. Excellent. Form is everything. That's why I like to make sure I emphasize it, right? If you're doing an exercise and you're doing it wrong, you're just gonna injure yourself. And we don't want that. We don't want that. We wanna make sure we're doing everything nice and how we're supposed to. Excellent. 3, 2, and 1. 1 minute of rest here. Toss those weights. Do any stretches that feel nice to you. Grab some water. I tend to forget to remind folks of that. That's pretty bad on my part, but grab some water. I don't ever have water next to me. Another great, not great example of that, but stay hydrated, folks. Always super important during these workouts here. So 30 seconds left. Go ahead and grab your weights, get prepared for the next block. Wide bicep curls. Even if you need to drop your weights if you're feeling a little gassed, that's totally fine, whatever you wanna do. But we've got about 15 seconds left. So again, as a reminder, same exact form, we're just taking those wrists out into a W, okay? All right, mighty family, let's go ahead and begin. So weights down by our side as we start, and we raise up. Keep that wrist nice and straight. No rocking of the upper body. I see that a lot, especially when we're standing. It's so easy to do this, right? That does nothing for you. Keep your core nice and tight. The only thing that should be moving is your elbows here. Excellent job. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. Toss those weights aside into the tricep extension overhead. So again, you can use both of your light weights. You can use just one of your light weights, whatever feels best for you. But we're gonna take those weights, put them together, put them behind our head, elbows right in line with our head, okay? Let's go ahead and begin. So as we come up, weights come flat, horizontal, and then vertical here. Excellent. Keep that core nice and tight. This is one where we have weight above our head, so it's really easy for our body to want to rock back and forth with this. So keep that core nice and tight. Squeeze those weights together. 3, 2, and 1. I gotta finish out the rep that I started. Bring those weights down and rest. Nice job. Shoulder press. So I'm gonna grab my bigger weights for this one. You do the same if you feel like it. Roll those shoulders out. We've still got about 5 seconds here. Let's get up in that goal post position and let's begin. So press up. Weights stay apart. You can bring them together, but I tend to notice that pinches that shoulder joint a little bit more. So keep those weights about a couple inches apart from each other, and that'll help that strain on that shoulder joint here. Excellent. Core is nice and tight. Same thing with what we just did with the overhead tricep, right? As we bring the arms up, our core starts to get a little bit more, put more load on it. So keep that core tight. Nice job. 3, 2, and 1. Drop those weights. 1 minute of rest, and then we have our final block of work. So eccentric hammer curls, tricep press, and upright row. All these different terms and words, I get my words all jumbled up a lot of the time. So roll those wrists out, roll those shoulders out. We've got 30 seconds here. Roll the neck out if you need to. Grab some water, last and final one. So this time around, last time you have to do these 3 exercises, can we increase the weight a little bit? Can we increase the speed? You choose. Any way to challenge yourself works for me. So grab those weights. Eccentric hammer curl. So weights start by our side. We have that weight vertical. As a reminder, 1 up, 3 down. Let's go ahead and begin. So 1 up quick, 3, 2, 1. Really make sure you're counting, okay? So our body wants to drop those weights. We have a lot of weight and we're really stretching that muscle, but that's the point of this exercise, is to give your muscle time under tension. So even though it's a little bit maybe not comfortable, take your time to count down 3 seconds. Excellent, excellent. 3, 2, and 1. Nice job. Go ahead and toss those weights. Switch them out for those tricep chest press, okay? So weights together, last and final time here. Let's go ahead and begin. So push out directly in front of you and draw those weights back in. Push those weights together. You're gonna increase the load on your chest muscles if you push those weights together, and keep those elbows close to you. Excellent. Great job. 3, 2, and 1. Rest those weights. I'm keeping the same for upright rows. We got 10 seconds here. Then we get to stretch it out because that stretch is going to feel so nice. So start with those weights down below. Adjust your legs if you need to. Palms face in, and let's go ahead and begin. So up to the chest, right above the chest, and come back down. Really important to keep that chest nice and open. Don't start to roll those shoulders in, okay? Back and up. Excellent. Nice job, mighty family. 3, 2, and 1. Great job. Toss those weights aside. Oh, 30 minutes of pretty consistent movement with those shoulder, upper body really gets it going. So let's start with the bicep stretch. We did a lot with our biceps. So take those arms out in front. We're just gonna pull those fingertips back towards us. So forearm face up, pull those fingertips back. Nice stretch through the forearm and the bicep here. Excellent job. Be so proud of yourself. Even if you're a veteran to strength training or maybe you're new, these combo exercises that work multiple muscle groups at once is such a great use of our time, right? We don't have a lot of time here. Switch sides. None of us have really a whole lot of time to dedicate to our exercise, so let's make it worth it. Let's combine exercises, combine muscle groups in a safe way so that we can kind of get a good full body or full upper body exercise and not have to do multiple sessions, right? Excellent. All right, couple seconds here. Tricep stretch on deck. So we're gonna take one of our arms, we're basically gonna pat ourselves on the back, then we're gonna take the other hand and pull that elbow backwards, very slightly, okay? So don't have any pain in that shoulder. If this is too uncomfortable, you can bring that arm across and do the same thing. So bring it up kind of around your neck, like you're kind of putting yourself in a chokehold. I'm thinking of wrestling here, but, and then you can kind of push that elbow back. So whatever feels best for any of you. I know over the head stuff can be a little bit challenging. Go ahead and switch sides. So bring those arms down and then hop right into that other side, whether you're doing over the head or across the neck. Excellent. Release, shoulder stretch. So bring that arm across, straight arm across the body. You want to grip with that other hand on the forearm. So we don't want the wrist, we don't want the elbow, we want right in the middle. And then when you're in this position, a lot of times our shoulder wants to creep up by our ear. So draw that shoulder down away from our ear. That arm should be nice and across our body. Excellent. Heart rate should be coming back down hopefully by now. So if you need a little extra time to stretch, there's plenty of stuff in the app. Just go searching for stretch videos or go take a walk. That's always a nice way to recover as well. Other side. Oh, that stretching feels so beautiful after a nice strength workout. Awesome job, Mighty Family. Last and final, we're gonna open up the chest, draw those fingertips back behind us, and then we're gonna go ahead and give ourselves a nice big hug, pull those shoulder blades apart. Give yourself an affirmation while you're here. I'm strong, I'm capable, I can do hard things, I'm here, I'm taking care of myself, whatever that affirmation looks like for you. Once you've given yourself that affirmation, pull those arms across. Take a nice big inhale. And exhale, drop those arms. Excellent job, Mighty Family. Thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you all back here next week. Have a great weekend.